कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः परमव्योमभास्करः।
श्रीमते निगमान्त महादेशिकाय नमः। Dasharatha made repeated pleas, requests to Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi, let Bharata rule Ayodhya. I have nothing against him. In fact, he is more virtuous than Rama. But please do not send Rama to the forest, Kaikeyi. This is not a decision that I will resist. It is not a decision that others will question you of. But even your own son Bharata will not like this decision of yours. Hey Kaikeyi, in case you send Rama to the forest, how will I be able to look into the eyes of my wife Kaushalya, Sumitra, their sons Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrughna, and my dear daughter-in-law Sita? Kaikeyi, please do not send Rama to the forest. अंजलिं कुर्मि कैकेयी पादौ चापि स्पृशामि ते शरणं भव रामस्य माधर्मो मामिह स्पृशेत्. Kaikeyi refused to budge. That is when Dasharatha said, all these years I have never lived with you, Kaikeyi. I have not been living with you as a human being. I have nurtured a snake, cobra in my house. You are that cobra. That two-fanged cobra is you, Kaikeyi. Ramamanastvaya sartham mrityum tvam nabhilakshaye balo rahasi hastena krishna sarpamiva sprusham. I feel very, very sad, Kaikeyi. You know why? For having a son like Rama. Kaikeyi had a jerk. What is this man? He's saying he is feeling sad to have a son like Rama. What do you mean? She asked. Kaikeyi, my son is a very obedient son. You know it, I know it, the world knows of it. If the father says, Rama, come here, he'll come. If the father says, Rama, go, leave, he will leave. If the father says, Rama, sit, he will sit. If the father says, Rama, go behind Vishwamitra, he'll go. All these years I have been very proud that I have a son like Rama who listens to what the father says. But today, Kaikeyi, I regret having a son like Rama, because today if I tell him, Rama, go to the forest, you know what he'll say? He'll say yes and he'll go. If it was a disobedient son, which most other parents have, then this boy would have revolted against the father, would have denied going to the forest, would have revolted against the father, would have fought against the father would have brought the father to the battleground. But look at my son. If I tell him, Rama, go to the forest, he will go. Today I repent, Kaikeyi, for having given birth to Rama. Today if I tell him, go Rama to the forest, he will go. This obedience itself has become a bane for me, Kaikeyi. नालं द्वितीयं वचनं पुत्रो मां प्रतिभाषितुं सवनं प्रव्रजेत्युक्तो बाढमित्येव वक्ष्यति यदि मे राघवः कुर्याद् वनं गच्छेति चोदितः Pratikulam priyam mesya natu vatsaha karishyati. My Rama, hey Kaikeyi, does not know how to speak harsh words. He's always been very soft worded, very humble. How do you have the intent to take revenge on him, Kaikeyi? To even take revenge, you should have some incident. You should have the backing of many anecdotes telling that this person has hurt me physically, morally. You should have reasons. What reasons will you enlist Kaikeyi to say that Rama deserves this treatment of yours? Tell me that, Kaikeyi. न किञ्चिदाश्रितं या प्रियं वचो न वेत्ति रामः परुषाणि भाषितुं कथं तु रामो ह्यभिरामवादिनी ब्रवीषि दोषान् गुणनित्यसम्मते. You can only list down the gunam, not the dosham, Kaikeyi. Tell me. Kaikeyi, I've told you, with the first boon, I can always change the entire kingdom. Let your son take, Bharata take. You rule happily. You rule this Ayodhya, all the other provinces and kingdoms that are subservient to this region, you rule. You, your son Bharata, rule this happily, but without us. I will not stay in that kingdom where you are showing your arrogance as one of the virtues to rule your subjects. I will not stay. We cannot stay here, Kaikeyi. Maya charamena salakshmanena prashastu hino bharatastvaya saha puram charashtram cha nihatya bandhavan mamahitanam cha bhavabi harshini. We cannot stay here. One more thing, Kaikeyi. If you seize this kingdom from me, and if you are going to rule with your son Bharata, where that Bharata agrees to your decision. Today, I am pronouncing Kaikeyi. If Bharata agrees to rule Ayodhya, he will not be entitled to perform the final rites for me. He cannot perform the final rites. I shall disown him as my son from this very moment if he chooses to rule Ayodhya, adhering to the bond that you have sought, Kaikeyi. Priyam ched bharatasyaitat Rama pravrajanam bhavet masvame bharata karshit preta krityam gatayushaha. I have always respected women, Kaikeyi. Of course, on a side note, today we can't even imagine a household where the man has multiple wives at the same time and there is a room allotted for every wife. Let's say 301 for Kaushalya, 302 to Kaikeyi, 303 to Sumitra and many other wives. And all of them are sitting on the dining table and dining with their husband. We can't even imagine such a scenario today, which is not healthy as well. The man should know how to respect the woman should know how to respect the man. Polygamy, polyandry are not the virtues that we see of today. But of course, in those days, they were either the kings were marrying multiple women to produce too many children, or they were marrying due to political alliances, or they were political compulsions. In whichever case, Sanatana Dharma doesn't endorse this concept of polygamy. While we do see many cases of polygamy in our own Puranas, it is not a virtue that we need to appreciate. So when we look at Ramayana or Bhagavata, from the lives of such kings, we also need to understand how not to live. See, Itihasas and Puranas are biographies or documentations of great kings. Too many things can be learned from the way they administered, the way they handled those subjects, the way they gave decisions. There are certain cases where we choose that we should not be like them as well. So, polygamy is one issue or one concern That should not be taken from our Purana stating that Dasharatha had many wives, why can't I have? So this polygamy shouldn't become a tool in the hands of politicians stating that, see, I am being a very true Hindu. In those days, kings had multiple wives. All this is not supported in Sanatana Dharma. That is why Rama's life, despite its ups and downs, Rama becomes a trendsetter, because in those days, when it was the norm to have multiple wives, Rama alone chose to be monogamous. He said, at no point in time I will marry. Though there were separations, she was abducted, then the pregnant Sita was banished to the forest. Even then, he chose to be monogamous. So that is a virtue that we need to appreciate. There could be certain differences of opinion of us with certain kathapatrams of Ramayana. That is okay. Here, he says, Dasharatha says, you are so stubborn, Kaikeyi. I condemn womanhood. He says, first line, Diggastu yoshito nama shataha swartha parayanaha nabravimi striya sarva. Then he corrects himself. That is the habit or a virtue expected of a good king, a decent king. You may blurt out certain things, but as we blurt out, we should also think twice whether what we have said is right or wrong and immediately make course correction to that. He says, I condemn womanhood. Diggastu, diggastu, diggastu. Free on womanhood. He says that. Diggastu yoshito dama shataha swartha parayana. Then he corrects himself. He says, has my mother been a bad woman? Has Kaushalya or Sumitra been a bad woman? Is my daughter-in-law Sita bad? Are my other daughters-in-law like Mandavi, Shrutakirti, Urmila bad? Whom am I condemning? Am I condemning just putting a blanket condemnation on all the women? No, that is wrong. He course corrects himself. He says, Na bravimi striya sarva. I am not talking of all the women, he says. Bharatasyaiva mataram. I am talking only of that lady who is the mother to Bharata. So he says, I condemn Kaikeyi. But his initial statement was condemn the entire womanhood. Then he course corrects and says, no, I condemn only Bharata's mother. Then he prays. It is all happening in the mid of the night. He prays that the sun should never rise in the morning, because only if the sun rises, the day will begin. Only if the day will begin, he has to call Rama and ask him to go to the forest. Only if Rama goes to the forest, Kaikeyi's boon will get fructified. So for all this to not happen, the sun should not rise. So he prays. He prays to his Kuladevam, because they were all kings in the Surya Vamsha. So he prayed to Vivaswan, Surya Bhagavan, please do not rise. Na prabhatam tve yechami nishe nakshatra bhushite. Generally in those days, you always say the kings led a very royal life, aristocratic life. So how did they wake up? How do we all wake up? We have a phone, we keep an alarm, we tell people around us to wake us up. Most of the cases they will not wake up, so they will not wake us up. So we have an alarm system. Today we have the alarm in the phone itself. You all must remember those days where we used to have a clock and then we used to fix the alarm and that will start hitting in the morning. So this is how we are used to. We will be listening to the howling of the dogs, the barking of the dogs. This is how we are used to. But you know how kings led a royal life? In the morning, the Veena artist used to come and play the Veena. The poets, the bards who were very good in singing odes, poems and praises on the kings used to come and sing praises. Oh, the king who has protected the entire world, rise, they will sing. The Veena artist will play. The elephant will come and blow its trunk. The cow, the holy cow would come and showcase its back, because in Sanatana Dharma we believe that cow is a personification of motherhood, and from its back comes those materials which are used to make Panchagavyam. So we believe that Mahalakshmi stays there. So then the horse will come and show it should be a white horse with a white tail. So with all such accessories and these comforts, the king will slowly rise in the morning. But this morning, when Dasharatha had to wake, he didn't sleep at all. So when the bards, the Veena artist arrived, he said, don't play. I don't want any of this. Satyameka padam, Satyameka padam, Brahma Satye Dharma Pratishtitaha. Then Kaikeyi goes to Dasharatha and says, Dasharatha, I would like to tell you one thing. What would you want to tell me now? He didn't even look at her. She said, Satyameka padam Brahma Satye Dharma Pratishtitaha. In truth, in honesty, in truth, lies this entire world. In truth, in the existence of truth, in the adherence to truth is when Dharma stays. Satyamevakshaya Veda Satye Navapyate Param. What is greater than truth? She is telling Dasharatha early in the morning. Why is she telling all this? She is just trying to say truth is the best virtue. Stick to your promise. Just because you promised me yesterday night, you must have heard. In Shakuntalam, Kalidasa says, through Durvasa Maharshi, when Shakuntala refuses to acknowledge the presence of Durvasa in the hermitage, he says, Katham prabatham prathamam kritamiva, like a drunkard who promises that previous night and the next morning he will forget. So will Dushyanta Maharaja forget you, Shakuntala, he says. Similarly, she is worried. Yesterday night this man has promised. What if he breaks his promise this morning? That is why she is repeating, Satyam, in truth lies the word. So do not lie, uphold your promise. Let's see if Dasharatha will uphold his promise and call Rama to his Antapura.
Dear Astika reader, I am happy to be authoring a two-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.